First Maccabees, chapter 10:1. In the 160th year of Alexander, the son of Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, went up and took Ptolemais, for the people had received him, by means whereof he reigned there. Chapter 2. Now when the king Demetrius heard thereof, he gathered together an exceeding great host, and went forth against to fight him. For, said he, let us first make peace with him before he joins with Alexander against us. 18. King Alexander to his brother Jonathan sendeth greetings. 21. So in the 7th month of the 116th year, at the Feast of Tabernacles, Jonathan put on the holy robe and gathered together forces and provided much armor. 22. Whereof when Demetrius heard, he was very sorry, and said, at 46. Now when Jonathan and the people heard these words, they gave no credit unto them, nor received them, because they remembered the great evil that he had done in Israel, for he had afflicted them very sore. 47. But with Alexander they were well pleased, because he was the first that entreated of true peace with them, and they were confederate with him always. 48. Then gathered King Alexander in great forces, and camped over against Demetrius. 49. After the two kings had joined battle, Demetrius host fled, but Alexander followed after him and prevailed against him. 50. And he continued the battle very sore until the sun went down, and that day was Demetrius slain. 51. Afterwards Alexander sent ambassadors to Ptolemy, king of Mizraim, with a message to this effect. 57. So Ptolemy went out of Mizraim with his daughter Cleopatra, and they came unto Ptolemais in 162 year. 58. Where King Alexander, meeting him, gave unto him his daughter Cleopatra, and celebrated her marriage at Ptolemais with great glory, and the manner of the kings is. 59. Now when King Alexander had written unto Jonathan that he should come and meet him. 60. Who thereupon went honorably to Ptolemais, where he met the two kings, and gave them and their friends silver and gold and many presents, and found favor in their sight. 61. At that time certain pestilent fellows of Israel, men of a wicked life, assembled themselves against him to accuse him, but the king would not hear them. 64. Now when his accusers saw that he was honored according to the proclamation, and clothed in purple, they fled away. 67. Furthermore, in the 165th year, Demetrius, son of Demetrius, out of Crete, into the land of his fathers, or came in. 69. Then Demetrius made Apollonius the governor of Celesyria, and his general, who gathered together a great host, and camped in Jamnia, and sent unto Jonathan the most high priest, saying, 71. Now therefore, if thou truest in thy own strength, come down to us into the plain field, and there let us attest this matter, for with me is the power of the cities. 72. Ask and learn who am I, and the rest that take our part, that they shall tell thee that thy foot is not able to stand before thy face, for thy fathers have been twice put to flight in their own land. 73. Wherefore now thou shalt not be able to abide the horsemen in so great a power in the plain, where is neither stone nor flint, nor place to flee unto, 74. So when Jonathan heard these words of Apollonius, he was moved in his mind, and choosing 10,000 men, he went out to Jerusalem, where Simon his brother met to help. 11:1, and the king of Mitzrayim gathered together a great host, like the sand that lies upon the seashores, and many ships, and went about through deceit to get Alexander's kingdom and join it to his own. 5. And they told the king whatsoever Jonathan had done, to the intent that he might blame him, but the king held his peace. 7. Afterwards, Jonathan, when he had gone with the king to the river called Eleutherus, returned again to Jerusalem. Number 8. King Ptolemy, therefore, having gotten the dominion of the cities by the sea unto Seleucia upon the sea coast, imagined wicked counsel against Alexander. 9. Whereupon he sent ambassadors unto King Demetrius, saying, Come, let us make a league betwixt us, and I will give thee my daughter, whom Alexander has, and thou shalt reign in thy father's kingdom. 10. For I repent that I gave my daughter unto him, for he sought to slay me. 11. Thus did he slander him, because he was desirous of his kingdom. 12. Wherefore he took his daughter from him, and gave her to Demetrius, and forsook Alexander, so that their hatred was openly known. 13. Then Ptolemy entered into Antioch, where he set his 2 crowns upon his head, the crown of Asia and the crown of Mitzrayim. 15. But when Alexander heard this, he came to war against him, whereupon King Ptolemy brought forth his host, and met him with a mighty power, and put him to flight. 16. So Alexander fled into Arabia, there to be defrauded or defended, but King Ptolemy was exalted. 17. For Zabdiel the Arabian took off Alexander's head and sent it into Ptolemy. 18. King Ptolemy also died the 3rd day after, and they that were in the strongholds were slain one of another. 21. Then certain ungodly persons who hated their own people went unto the king and told him that Jonathan besieged the tower. 22. Whereof when he heard, he was very angry, and immediately removed. He came to Ptolemaeus and wrote unto Jonathan that he should not lay siege to the tower, but come and speak with him at Ptolemaeus in great haste. 23. Nevertheless, Jonathan, when he heard, commanded to besiege it still, and chose certain of the elders of Israel and the priests, and put himself in peril. 29. So the king consented and wrote letters to Jonathan of all these things after this manner. 33. We are determined to do good, and to the people of the Israelites, who are our friends, and keep the covenants with us, because of their goodwill towards us. 34. Wherefore we have ratified unto them the borders of Judea, with the 3 governments of Ephraim and Lydda and Ramathim, that are added unto Judea from the country of Samaria, and all these things appertaining unto them, for as such as do sacrifice in Jerusalem, instead of the payments which the king received of them yearly aforetime, out of the fruits of the earth and the trees. 38. After this, when King Demetrius saw that the land was quiet before him, and that no resistance was made against him, he sent away all his forces, every one to their own place, except certain bands of strangers, whom he had gathered from the isles of the heathen. Wherefore all the forces of his fathers hated him. 39. Moreover, there was one Tryphon that had been Alexander's part afore, who, seeing that all of the host murmured against Demetrius, went to Samalcul the Arabian and brought up Antiochus the young son of Alexander. 40. And laid sore upon him to deliver this young Antiochus, that he might reign in his father's stead. He told him that therefore all that Demetrius had done, and how his men of war were at enmity with him, and that there he remained a long season. 41. In the meantime, Jonathan said unto the king Demetrius that he should cast those of the tower out of Jerusalem, and those also in the fortress, for they fought against Israel. 42. So Demetrius sent unto Jonathan, saying, I will not only do this for thee and thy people, but I will greatly honor thee and thy nation if opportunity serves. 44. Upon this Jonathan sent him 3,000 strong men unto Antiochus. And when they came to the king was very glad of their coming. 46. Wherefore the king fled into the court, but they of the city kept passage of the city and began to fight. 47. The king called to the Israelites for help, who came unto him at once, uh, dispersing themselves through the city, and slew that in that day the city to the number of 100,000. 53. Nevertheless, he dissembled in all that ever he spoke, and estranged himself from Jonathan. Neither rewarded he him according to the benefits which they had received of him, but troubled him very sore. 54. After this returned Tryphon with his young child Antiochus, who reigned and was crowned. 55. And then there gathered unto him all the men of war whom Demetrius had put away, and they fought against Demetrius, who turned his back and fled. 57. And at that time young Antiochus wrote unto Jonathan, saying, I confirm thee in thy high priesthood, and appoint thee ruler over the four governments, and to be one of the king's friends. 59. His brother Simon also he made captain from the place called the Ladder of Tyrus unto the borders of Mitzrayim. 67. As for Jonathan and his host, they pitched at the borders of Gennesar, from whence between times or betimes in the morning they gat them to the plain of Nasor. 68. Behold, the host of strangers met them in the plain, who having laid men in ambush for him in the mountains, came themselves against him. 69. So when they that lay ambush rose up out of their places and joined battle, all that were of Jonathan had fled. 70. And so as much as there was not one of them left, except Matthias the son of Absalom, and Judea the son of Calphi, the captains of the host. 73. Now when his own men that fled saw this, they turned again unto him, and with him pursued them to Cadiz, even unto their own tents, and there they camped. 74. So there were slain of the heathen that day about 3,000 men, but Jonathan returned to Jerusalem. 12:1. Now when Jonathan saw that the time served him, he chose certain men and sent them to Rome, for to confirm and renew the friendship that he had with them. 3. So they went unto Rome and entered into the Senate, and said, Jonathan the high priest and the people of the Israelites sent us unto you, to the end ye should renew the friendship which ye had with them in the leagues, as in former times. 4. Upon this the Romans gave the letters unto the governors of every place, that they should bring them into the land of Judea peaceably. 7. There were certain letters sent in times past unto Onias the high priest from Darius, who reigned in among them, to signify that ye are brethren, as the copy here underwritten doth speaketh or specify. 9. Therefore we also, albeit we need none of these things, for that we have the holy books of scriptures in our hands to comfort us. 13. As for ourselves, we have had great troubles and wars on every side, for so much as the kings that are round about us have fought against us. 16. For this cause we chose Numenius, the son of Antiochus, and Parta, the son of Jason, and sent them unto Rome to renew the amity that we had with them in the former leagues. 19. This is the copy of the letters which Honorius sent. 20. Arius, king of the Lacedaemonians, to Onias the high priest, greetings. 21. It is found in the writing that the Lacedaemonians and the Israelites are brethren, and that they are of stock of Abraham. 23. We do write back again to you that your cattle and goods are ours, and ours be yours. We do command therefore our ambassadors to make reports unto you this wise. 24. Now when Jonathan heard that Demetrius' princes were come to fight against him with a great host than afore. 30. Then Jonathan pursued after them, but overtook them not, for they were gone over the river Eleutheros. 31. Wherefore Jonathan turned to the Arabians, who were called Zabadines, and smote them, and took their spoil. 39. Now Tryphon went about to get the kingdom of Asia, and to kill Antiochus the king, that he might set the crown upon his own head. 40. Howbeit he was afraid that Jonathan would not suffer him, and that he would fight against him. Wherefore he saw the way to how to take Jonathan, and that he might kill him. So he removed and came to Bethshan, or Bethsam. 41. Then Jonathan went out to meet with him, with 40,000 men chosen for battle, and the camp to Bethshan. 43. Now when Tryphon saw that Jonathan came with a great force, he durst not stretch out his hand against him. 43. But received him honorably, and commended him unto all his friends, and gave him gifts, and commanded his men of war to be as obedient unto him as to himself. 43. Unto Jonathan also he said, Why hast thou put all this people to such great trouble, seeing that there is no war between us? 45. Therefore send them away, and choose a few men to wait on thee, and come thou with me to Ptolemais, for I will give thee and the rest of the strongholds and forces, and all that have any charge. As for me, I will return and depart, for this is the cause of my coming. 46. So Jonathan, believing him, did as he bade him, and sent away his host, who went into the land of Judea. 49. Then sent Tryphon and host of footmen and horsemen into Galilee, and to the great plain, to destroy Jonathan's company. 50. But when they knew that Jonathan and they that were with him were taken and slain, they encouraged one another, and went close together, prepared to fight. Okay, going back to that. Now as soon as 48. Now as soon as Jonathan entered into Ptolemais, they of Ptolemais shut the gate, and took him, and all of them that came with him, and they slew him with the sword. You can't trust these niggas. 51. They therefore that followed upon them, perceiving that they were ready to fight for their lives, turned back again. Let's get one, and then I think 50. But when they knew that Jonathan, oh never mind. 52. Whereupon they all came into the land of Judea peacefully, and they bewailed Jonathan, and they that were with him, and they were sore afraid. Wherefore all of Israel made great lamentations. 13:1. Now when Simon heard that Tryphon had gathered together a great host to invade the land of Judea and destroy it, 3. And gave them exhortation, saying, Ye yourselves know that the great things I and my brethren in my father's house have done for the laws, in the sanctuary, the battles, also the troubles which we have seen. For by reason whereof all my brethren are slain for Israel's sake, and I am left alone. 11. Also he sent Jonathan, the son of Absalom, with him to a great power to Yape, who casting out them that were therein remained therein. 12. So Tryphon removed from Ptolemais with a great power to invade the land of Judea, and Jonathan was with him in the ward. 14. Now when Tryphon knew that Simon was risen up instead of his brother Jonathan, and meant to join battle with him, he sent messengers unto him, saying, 17. Hereupon Simon, how albeit he perceived that they spoke deceitfully unto him, yet sent the money and the children, lest peradventure he should procure to himself great hatred of the people. Let me go back. 15. Whereas we have, alright, so he sent unto them, saying, whereas we have joined Jonathan thy brother in hold, it is for money that he is owing unto the king's treasure concerning the business that was committed unto him. 16. Wherefore now send 100 talents of silver and 2 of his sons for hostage, that when he is at liberty he may not revolt from us, and we will let him go. See. 18. Who might have said, because I sent him not the money and the children, therefore is Jonathan dead. 19. See the wisdom. So he sent them the children in 100 talents, howbeit Tryphon dissembled, neither would he let Jonathan go. I believe it was 25. Then sent Simon and took the bones of Jonathan his brother and buried them in Molden, the city of their fathers. 28. Moreover he set up 7 pyramids, one against another, for his father and his mother and his brethren. 29. And in these he made cunning devices, about which he set up great pillars, and upon the pillars he made all the armor for perpetual memory, by the armor ships carved, and they might be seen of all that sailed by the sea. 32. And he reigned in his stead, and crowned himself king of Asia, and brought a great calamity upon the land. 34. Moreover, Simon chosen men sent to King Demetrius, to the end should give the land of immunity, because all that Tryphon did was to spoil. 41. Thus the yoke of the heathen was taken away from Israel in the 117th year. 43. In those days Simon camped against Gaza, besieged it around about, and made also an engine of war, and set it by the city, and battered a certain tower, and took it. 46. And they said, Deal not with us according to our wickedness, but according to thy mercy. 50. Then cried they to Simon, beseeching him to be at one with them, which thing he granted them. And when he had put them out from thence, he cleansed the tower from pollution. 53. And when Simon saw that Jan, his son, was a valiant man, he made him captain over all the hosts. captain over all the hosts, and dwelt in Gazara. 14:1 or 14:2, when was Arsas, the king of Persia and Media, heard that Demetrius was entered within the borders, he sent one of his princes to take him alive. 3, who went and smote the host of Demetrius and took him and brought him to Arsaces, by whom he was put in the ward. 13, neither was there any left in the land to fight against them. Yes, the kings themselves were overthrown in those days. 14, moreover, he strengthened all those of his people that were brought low in the law. He searched out every contemner of the law and wicked person he took away. 16, now when it was heard in Rome, and as far as Sparta, that Jan was dead, they were very sorry. 17, but as soon as they heard that his brother Simon was made high priest in his stead, and ruled the country and the city therein. 18, they wrote unto him in the tables of brass to renew their friendship and league which they had made with Judas and Jonathan his brethren. 49, for as much as oftentimes there have been wars in the country, wherein for the maintenance of the sanctuary and the laws, Simon the son of Matthias and of the posterity of Jareb, together with his brethren, put themselves in jeopardy, and resisting the enemy of their nation, did their nation great honors. 31, their enemies proposed to invade their country, that they might destroy it and lay hands on the sanctuary. 37, but he placed the Israelites therein and fortified it for the safety of the country and the city, and raised up the walls of Jerusalem. 38, King Demetrius also confirmed him in the high priesthood according to those things. 39, it made him one of his friends and honored him with great honor. 40, for he had heard say that the Romans had called the Israelites their friends and confederates and brethren, and that they had entertained the ambassadors of Simon honorably. 15:1, moreover, Antiochus, son of Demetrius, the king, sent letters from the isles of the sea unto Simon the priest and the prince of the Jews, of the Israelites, to all the peoples. 3, for as much as certain pestilent men have usurped the kingdom of our fathers, and my purpose is to challenge it again, that I may restore it to the old estate, and that the end gathered a multitude of foreign soldiers together, and prepared ships of war. 4, my meaning also being to go through the country, that I may be avenged of them that have destroyed it, and have made many cities in the kingdom desolate. 5, now therefore I confirm thee all the obligations of the kings before me have granted thee, and whatsoever gifts besides them have granted. 6, I give thee leave also to coin money for thy country with thy own stamp. 7, as for concerning Jerusalem and the sanctuary, let them be free, and all the armor that thou hast made, and fortresses that thou hast built and kept in thy hands, let them remain unto thee. 8, if anything be or shall be owing to the king, let it be forgiven thee from this time forth evermore. 9, furthermore, when we have obtained our kingdom, we will honor thee and thy nation and thy temple in great honor, so that your honor shall be known throughout the world. 10, in the 163 year, when Antiochus entered the land of his fathers, at which time all the forces came together against him, or unto him, so that few were left in Tryphon. 11. Wherefore, being pursued by King Antiochus, he fled unto Dora, which lieth by the seaside. 12. For he saw that the troubles came upon him at once, and that his forces had forsaken him. 13. Then camped Antiochus against Dora, having with him 120,000 men of war. 16. Lucius, council of the Romans, unto the king Ptolemy, greetings. 17. The Jews' ambassador, our friends and confederates, came unto us to renew the old friendship and leagues, being sent from Simon the high priest and from the people of the Israelites. 21. If therefore there be any pestilent fellow that have fled from their country unto you, deliver them unto Simon the high priest, that he may punish them according to their own laws. 23. And to all the countries, and to Samus, and the Lacedaemonians, and to Delus, Mundus, and Sicyon, Saria, Samos, Pamphylia, Lycia, and Halicarnus, Rhodus, Phasaelis, Cos, and Side, and Aridus, was it Gortina, Synodus, Cyprus, and Cyrene. 24. The copy hereof they wrote to Simon the high priest. 26. At that time Simon rent to send him 2,000 chosen men to aid him, silver also and gold. 27. Nevertheless, he would not receive them, but break all the covenants which he had made with them afore, and became strange unto them. 30. Now therefore, deliver the cities which ye have taken, and the tributes of our places, whereof ye have gotten dominion without the borders of Judea. 39. And command him to remove his host from toward Judea. Also he commanded him to build up Sidon, and to fortify the gates, and to go into war against the people. But as for the king himself, he pursued Tryphon. 40. It's a great movie. So Sendibius came to Jamnia, and began to provoke the people, and to invade Judea, and to take the people prisoners and slay them. 16:1. Then came up Jan from Gazara, and told Simon his father what Sendiberius had done. 2. Wherefore Simon